Hello everyone, I am Natalie Green. I am the Family and Consumer Science Agent in Webster County. So I'm going to be presenting the Homemaker Leader lesson, how to get out of a mealtime rut. So if you'll want to get your papers out, your materials, and look over them. So there's an icebreaker activity about meals. So I'm sure everyone here cooks at home, right? Some, yes. Somebody turned their nose up already, so that's why you're here, I'm guessing. So what the icebreaker activity to start is we'll just go around and everybody can tell me what your go-to meal is whenever you just don't know what to cook, so that you know, tried and true every single time, same thing. Do you have one?
We do soup and grilled cheese.
Soup and grilled cheese, like soup, like tomato soup or any kind of soup, just out of a can? Or you make it?
Different kinds, but from a can.
Okay. Do you have one?
The reason you saw me snarl my nose up is I'm married to a man that basically eats red meat, potatoes, bread.
I get it.
Very few vegetables. Nothing that's mixed together like casseroles or anything like that. So
That's how my husband is.
I get so tired of just cooking the same old thing over and over and over. But I guess the one go-to meal that maybe is kind of easy and I can just roll the Reynolds wrap up and throw it away. We make hamburgers and we put onions, sliced onions on top of it, and then sliced potatoes on top of it. Roll it, put it in Reynolds wrap and stick it in the oven, and when it's done, you just roll the Reynolds up. I mean, you get done eating, just roll the Reynolds up, wrap up and throw it in the garbage.
Oh, I like
And so
that.
it's no little cleanup.
And he'll eat it. And he'll eat it. And he got all of his food groups he likes in there. Do you have?
I think spaghetti is an easy thing to do.
Yes. Yep. That's good. Always have the noodles and
Yeah.
everything on hand. That's a good one. Shelf stable that you can always have. Either one.
I like to do hash brown, hash, you call it hash. You just mix the stuff together,
Oh, okay.
and it's easier, and you usually have all the things on hand anyway, so.
That's the best, is when you know you've got it.
Right.
Yes. Do you have one?
Breakfast, brunch, eggs, the
Uh-huh.
whole thing, potatoes, and
That's a good one.
I love breakfast anytime.
Yeah, that's one of the ones we're gonna talk about in here whenever we get to that point. So, that is what we're talking about, is how to get out of a mealtime rut with your family. So some of us have a few family members at home, some of them it's just one of us or two of us. So you gotta either consider another person, or what's worse for me is considering what I want, because I'm very indecisive. So I'd rather somebody just tell me what I want and then we'll go from there. So if you or a family member responds with again to the answer of what's for dinner, or do you dread the thought of cleaning another dish, or you just can't remember the last time you were excited to dig into your own kitchen creation, you may be in a cooking rut. Even the most avid cooks find themselves in a cooking rut from time to time. But fear not, today we will ignite your cooking creativity and make mealtime more enticing. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today. So the benefits of cooking from home, the reasons that you get into these cooking ruts, how to start simple in addressing your cooking rut, and creative ways to refresh your cooking routine. So why do we even bother cooking at home? If you need motivation to cook at home, which I do this time of the year. I feel like during summer, it's easier because we just throw something on the grill. Is anybody else like that? Big grillers in the summer, meat, veggies, whatever, you throw it on the grill. And then it gets dark early, and it's like, I don't want to stop at the store. I don't want soup again, just because it's cold, so all the things like that. So in multiple studies, meals prepared and eaten at home were associated with higher quality diets and better health outcomes. Families eating home-cooked meals 5 or more times per week consume significantly more fruits and vegetables than consuming home-cooked meals less than 3 times per week. So you also reduce food waste. You can prepare exactly the amount you need and use ingredients for other recipes. This is hard to do when someone else is preparing your meal. And then family time. So studies have shown a positive relation between family meal frequency and measures of family functioning. There's less distraction and noise when dining at home together compared to at a restaurant. And then benefits for children. Family meals in the home provide an opportunity for parents to support healthful eating through role modeling, which is important for children's development. If children are included in the cooking process, they may be more likely to accept more healthful foods. Family meals have been positively associated with healthy eating behaviors, improved dietary quality, psychosocial outcomes, and reduced engagement in high-risk behaviors. And then lastly, cost savings. So depending on your personal eating habits and shopping habits, cooking at home often saves money. For example, takeout or restaurant meals are on average 5 times more expensive than preparing a meal at home. The most savings can be made when you prepare a pasta dish or a protein-based meal or pizza. So, why are you in a mealtime rut? So we have busy schedules. Cooking feels like a chore. Cleanup is a burden, which you kind of touched on when you said your easy meal was the Reynolds Wrap cleanup, which I love that. I may have to take notes from that. You have picky eaters at home, which you also touched on. Taste or preferences. Let's see. Is there any other reason other than what's up here that would that makes it harder to come up with something to eat that you all can think of? Time, which busy schedules, but like,
Maybe if you have a medical condition that restricts what you can eat.
yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, go ahead.
Or if you're alone, a single person,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it more difficult.
Yes. So is that you and back there, you guys? So what do you do for yourself normal? I mean, is yours normally breakfast? Is that like your go-to? Or?
No, what I'll do is I will fix a casserole, make sure they're pretty healthy,
Mhm.
and then after I fix it, then I freeze it into small containers.
Mhm.
Then I can pull it out of the freezer and have a salad or something.
That's a good idea.
But other than
Wasteful.
that, to cook for one,
Mhm.
it's hard.
Figure out what
Yeah.
to do for one person.
Yes, that's why I said, like, my husband, every day, he's like, what do you want for dinner? Because we have 3 small children, so they don't eat anything we cook. That's why I was kind of giggling during include them in the cooking. I'm like, it does not matter. They're not going to eat what I cook. Or if they help me, if they don't, doesn't matter. If it's cookies, they don't want them either. It's crazy. But I'm like, don't ask me. I can't decide. I don't want to decide. I've worked all day or whatever, and that's the last thing I want to do is think about what I want to eat later. It's just, yeah. But I think I like the idea of cooking something and putting it up so then you have options. So that's a good idea. So start simple. This is a way to get out of your mealtime rut. Let me see if I can go to the side here. Okay, here we go. Before we get into creative ways to refresh your cooking routine, let's start simple with USDA's My Plate. So have you all seen this before? It used to be the pyramid. So the My Plate is a little bit more updated in recent years from the pyramid. It serves as a guide to include all the food groups at meals. So when planning your meals, refer to My Plate to make half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Then you can include a grain, a protein, such as chicken or beans, and dairy. Not every food group has to be in the same dish. For example, you may have fruit as dessert, but it is a great guide to building balanced meals that will help you stay fuller longer. This is important because we are not only nourishing our bodies, but we are making the most of the time we spend preparing food for ourselves and our families. So does anybody think this might be helpful just when you don't know what to cook, just as like a base? I think it would be just like, cause my husband's like that, he's really a meat and potatoes kind of guy, so like could we do like a quinoa or rice with the, include other things in there so we aren't just eating, starches. Okay. So be creative. So these are all things we're gonna go over as a way to spice up your mealtime routine. Whoops. Oh, okay, that's how I do that. So a themed dinner night. So putting a theme to a night reduces some of the decision fatigue. You know that Friday is always pizza night, whether you make homemade pizzas, order pizza, or try a new frozen pizza. That decision is already made, so I think that's a great idea. See if you can come up with a creative or different theme. We know Taco Tuesday or Meatless Monday, but what else can you come up with that your family would enjoy? Anybody have anything? I know breakfast, that's one of the separate things on here. Is there anything else you all do as far as themes or that you can think of? Maybe do it around like holidays or stuff coming up, like Mardi Gras, I don't know, do some kind of New Orleans cuisine, anything beachy if you're about to go on vacation, make some kind of shrimp bowl, crab bowl. Do y'all like any of that stuff? No?
I could live on Cajun food. I
You
love
could.
Cajun food, but he won't eat it.
But he won't eat it. Man, you may just have to start cooking for one. Let him figure it out. Okay, maybe on,
7 years now, I've been trying to figure it out.
how many years?
Be 57 in June.
Yeah, I can see why you're here.
I'm tired of cooking red meat and potatoes, so yeah.
Yeah, I would be too. I need a little something different every now and then. So maybe on Sundays you try a recipe from a different country, or you have a movie night and make a recipe for dinner that connects with the movie you watch afterward. A great family suggestion would be Ratatouille by Pixar. Leftover night, so Ratatouille. Have y'all seen Ratatouille? Anybody? Good one. He's a little rat that cooks. Okay, not really appetizing because I'm not a rodent gal, but I mean that's your thing. Slow cooker Saturday, throwback Thursday could be your favorite childhood meals. I like that. I think that's a good one. Could be as simple as you have pasta in some form on Mondays or soup on Sundays. So those are all great options. So breakfast for dinner, that was one that's already been mentioned, and I think that's a great option because you do get several of those My Plate categories covered. This is your reminder again that it doesn't have to be complicated. Breakfast for dinner is a great time to make some of your favorite breakfast items that you don't always have time to prepare in the mornings. It's easy to pull together a fun breakfast meal with little prep. Aim to include a whole grain, a fruit, and a protein. For example, whole grain banana pancakes with a yogurt parfait. Incorporate vegetables by making egg scrambles or breakfast burritos. Sandwiches and wraps are always a good way to allow family members to customize their own meal if you have picky eaters. So does he do breakfast? Does he like breakfast or does he eat steak in the mornings? Okay. I was like,
But I kind of disagree with economical when it comes to eggs these days.
I agree.
Yeah, eggs are expensive.
They're wild. We've been getting the big box from Sam's of just
Yeah.
eggs for days. And we've been going through them, but it seems a little bit more economical, but with just two people, that's, they'd probably go bad by the time y'all got to them. Okay, so explore the store or the farmer's market. It provides a change of scenery for you. We typically go to the grocery store for the same items. If that's you, that's me for sure, if you're cooking the same meals. If you have time, look around more closely to see what items are offered that you have never tried. If you don't have as much time, try buying something you enjoy but have never made for yourself. For example, you may have never prepared eggplant at home. Grab it and use it in a new recipe or prepare it in a way you typically prepare another vegetable, such as roasting. If your town has different options for grocery stores, try visiting one you don't typically go to. If you don't normally frequent the farmer's market or a roadside stand, give it a go. It helps you try something new, eat in season, and support a local grower, which obviously, does Owensboro have one right now that's going, a farmer's market? It's just, okay. I mean, I know there's nothing right now, I just didn't know if there was anything in the winter anybody did.
Stuff's March or April, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so y'all's is pretty early. Ours is
I might be
April.
wrong about that, but it seems like it's at least April.
It'll open in April.
April. So that's good. Ours is pretty sporadic, but we don't have quite the producers that y'all do. If available, try visiting an international grocery store. Even if you don't buy something new, you may notice their produce is cheaper and or better quality. celebrate a food holiday. So search for a list of national food holidays. Celebrate at home. And for example, March 9th is National Meatball Day. So if you like meatballs. There are all sorts of food holidays, some more enticing to celebrate than others, but nonetheless, it makes things more fun with the family while helping you make a decision. It could even be a fun activity over winter break to look at a list and decide what holidays your family wants to celebrate. Okay, so photo along the way. Take pictures of your kitchen creations and make a food album in your phone. Sometimes we are inclined to find a new recipe every time we want to make something, which is me. And we forget about past delicious recipes we have already tried. Taking pictures of no recipe dishes is even more helpful. You can remind yourself of dishes you made with items you had on hand. With all of the cooking that goes into each year, we sometimes forget some of our own tasty creations. Be your own source of inspiration and keep track of your creations. So that is a fun one. I like that, to take pictures of what you cook. So you can also cook through a cookbook. So you can pick out a cookbook as a family and explore new recipes. You could purchase one at a bargain bookstore or borrow one from the library or a friend. How many people have cookbooks at home that you don't ever crack open? Anytime I get a hankering for anything, I'll get on Pinterest or TikTok and find something new that I'm never gonna cook again. And like, we like it. I don't know, but I don't know. So that's a great idea. I like that. Just going back to the basics. Take a couple weeks to cook through that cookbook and then rank the recipes as a family. So that would be fun. That your husband might like that. Huh? No? See if any of them should be added to your normal family rotation. Make note of what you liked or didn't like about a recipe and what changes you could make to make it more appealing. This gives you a chance to try new flavors or recipes that you normally would have looked past. It can also expose you to new cooking methods and help you choose recipes in the future. See, shop your kitchen. So easier said than done. You could use apps or websites to your advantage, or simply Google what ingredients you have on hand. I know there are apps out there. If you have a smartphone, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but we could probably find it before we leave here if you're interested. But you can put in what ingredients you have on hand, and then it will generate a recipe. Have y'all used those before? Tried them? Did they work out? Yeah. I think that's really cool. So you start with some sort of definite recipe and then build off of it with other staples. Consider how much time you have and what cooking method would work best too. If you only have 20 minutes, the microwave may be the way to go. For example, if you need to use up some broccoli before it goes bad, start there and then see what other produce items you need to use up. If you also have a container of chicken broth open in the fridge, maybe you decide to make a broccoli cheese soup, or maybe you make a broccoli and beef or shrimp stir fry to serve over rice. How about broccoli cheese melts on toast if you're short on time? You could even add some white beans or canned tuna to that recipe. So then there are, I don't think those are on there, on your all's. There are some websites that are here in the comments. There is a My Fridge Food website, and that's one of those that you can put in your ingredients. I just haven't read through the whole thing yet. Loved Canned Food website and Food Combo. If anybody wants to write those down or wants them after, it should be, if you got the printed out slideshow, it should be on there, because it's not in the notes. Okay. So the next one is to sauce it up. This could be as simple as swapping out sauces in your regular recipes. Could you add a stir fry sauce instead of salsa? Could you try an Alfredo sauce instead of a marinara? What about using a salad dressing as a marinade for meat? You can even just add another layer to a sauce that you regularly use, such as adding roasted or even pureed vegetables like butternut squash or carrots to a pasta sauce. or adding a can of crushed pineapple to a barbecue sauce. Playing with the sauces can make it feel like an entirely different meal by changing just one element. So, what sauces do you all regularly use? I know somebody said spaghetti over here. Does anybody make Alfredo often? Or, yeah, Alfredo, spaghetti. Yeah. Any other fancy things? I mean, I'm learning here too, because I want to hear from y'all. That's the other thing, and I think it's in here, just hearing ideas from other people is helpful too. Does anybody else use another sauce, stir fry, anything?
I try to use a lot of, different sauces, like, we like, Chinese,
Okay.
and I've got a lot of different ones.
Mm-hmm.
Some have been successful, some have not.
Yes.
But anyway, I like to try them.
Yes, that's my husband. He just made 2 different Chinese dishes over the weekend. We have it's a hoisin sauce. Have you ever used it?
Yeah,
It's pretty
yes,
good.
It is, I like it.
And it was from a recipe that I'd looked up a recipe a long time ago. I'm sure it's probably out of date, the hoisin sauce. But we just had a whole bottle of it, and so we just put it in any Chinese dish that we
It's a little bit like an Asian barbecue sauce.
Yes.
in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of thicker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, but I found I like that through one of those random recipes I found. So phone a friend. So like I said, see what other people are doing in their kitchen. Ask a family member or friend what has been on their dinner schedule lately. Also your coworkers, if anybody's working, since you're on the same schedule, kind of, they might be helpful in there because you all are, kind of time-wise have the same amount of time when you get home. And also you could reach out to your local extension office for recipes, because we have all the plated up recipes. We have the cook wild recipes. If you all do any wild game, anybody do wild game? No,
Yeah.
you do. What do y'all do?
Venison.
Okay, that's my husband just stocks our freezer with ground meat, every year. So we just do venison, and it's really no different to us.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people that haven't had it can really taste the difference. My mother-in-law is one of them. She thinks we trick her and poison her every time we make something. But there's a variety in the cook wild. If you want to try your hand at a turtle situation or squirrel or anything like that, that might spice up your life a little bit if you're into that. But as far as the plated up, there's stuff in every category you could think of. If you just get in a rut, just come by here or get on the website, and you could probably find something to cook. So the other thing you could do is watch the pros. So watch a cooking show. Does anybody have a favorite cooking show they like to watch? No?
I like them all.
You like them all? I don't know if anybody does TikTok. Anybody do TikTok? That's where I go and find stuff. Like if I'm just thinking I want this specific thing. Like last night I thought I wanted lasagna. I've never made homemade lasagna. I remember my dad always did it, but I don't remember exactly how he did it. So I'm on TikTok finding the lasagna recipe at 1 this morning. So now I've got dinner. But you may not want to do TikTok. You may want to do Pinterest or Facebook. You can search in Facebook just like you can TikTok. So same thing. I'm sure if you all ever look at recipes on your phone or anywhere, you've got ads on Facebook or things that come through you didn't ask for. Just try those. Just be like, we're just going to do that tonight, and just see about it. It may end up being one of your staple meals. I went backwards on mine. So this is a QR code there's some plated up recipes on there. If you all would like to scan it and just see what they are. But okay. So other than that, though, your video, okay. What will you try the next time you're in a mealtime rut? Has anybody gotten any new fun ideas or anything they might like to try out of any of this?
We did Hello Fresh for about 6 months, and we really loved it. I worked more during that 6 months preparing meals than I have probably ever. I did more chopping and
Yes.
et cetera, but it was all fresh ingredients, and we both enjoyed them, didn't we?
Yeah.
That is also an option. We tried that one time too, and I really did enjoy it just because you kind of feel like you know what you're doing, and they send you everything pretty much measured out, and you know what what to do, and it is good. It's
I
good
don't
till
know, I don't know why we haven't done it again. We quit because we were traveling, and then we never started again.
And money wise, I don't know, cause it's been a minute since I did it, how, in comparison to just going to the store.
Wasn't too bad. If there's just two of us,
Right.
it's,
And you can choose, from what I remember, right, like how many people are in your household, so they send you that amount of food for.
and you can have as many meals a week as you wanted. We chose 3 because that was about the only amount of days we were actually home.
Mm-hmm.
So
So that's also an option if you're interested in something like that. And from what I recall, you can pick if you've got allergies or if you're more meat heavy, if you prefer meat or vegetables or whatever. So that's a great suggestion too, to get out. If you just want to be done with cooking or with thinking for a minute, you still got to cook, but thinking for a minute about what you're going to eat, that's a good option. So are there any questions or comments anybody wants to share? Any good ideas? No? I think that was it. So, thank y'all for your time. I hope you learned something or got some good ideas today.